Hello, and welcome back to Let's Get Real. I'm your host, Lucas Manfredi. Today, we will settle the debate once and for all, which show is the superior political drama, House of Cards or The West Wing? Joined with me today is a House of Cards superfan who has binged-watched the show over 200 times, Aliza Sessler. And we have an expert in television political dramas and head of the Jed Bartlet fan club, Dan Doherty. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, we know that House of Cards tells the story of Robin Wright and Kevin Spacey as Frank and Claire Underwood in their rise to power, while we have Martin Sheen, who plays President Jed Bartlet on The West Wing, and we watch how his administration goes through their daily problems of being in the presidency. And now, with the show, there's a lot with both shows, from dialogue to all different stuff, that really draws you in. Aliza, I'm going to start with you. What is it about House of Cards that is so appealing to the audience?
Thank you, Lucas. House of Cards just does a phenomenal job of pulling the audience in. Before I started watching the show, I wasn't really into politics, but Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood does this phenomenal thing where he breaks the fourth wall. He'll be talking to an important politician like we're talking right now, then he'll look at the camera and he'll talk to the audience about his opinion of the situation at hand. And that, for me, just drew me in. I want to know more about politics. I wanted to know more about his rise to power. I want to know more about his mission as president. And additionally, Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright are just phenomenal actors. It doesn't get much better than this.
And going off of that, I know that the West Wing is the same person who wrote The Newsroom. So tell me, how does that compare?
So everyone knows that The Newsroom has some of the most fast-paced and greatest dialogue you'll see on TV. I think even Aliza said she watches the show and loves it. So to add to that, the fast-paced dialogue, you have a story that doesn't involve murder. It's just politics all the time. So if you want a political show, you're going to watch West Wing instead of getting this fictionalized thing. And also, West Wing uses real events, actual events that they base episodes off of.
Okay, but House of Cards is representation of real events, and they just dramatize it to show what is going on. They even follow current events. You know, like Claire Underwood is now the nominee for vice president. That's a reflection of Ivanka Trump now working in the White House. They play off of current events, and it's not, as some would say, fake news.
And going off of that, obviously you brought it up that there's, on both shows, there's lots of different parallels between what's going on in the real world and what's going on during the story of the show. So tell me, Dan, with the show, how is West Wing more of an accurate representation of what we would see in a presidency?
Because Frank Underwood would be behind bars if he did the stuff that he does in the show in real life.
Okay, but it shows,
it's that simple.
House of Cards show how corrupt politicians can be. They are not so professional all the time as what you would see on the West Wing. They are like, they play dirty games to rise to power. That's what you see on House of Cards. Unfortunately, and it's a little gross, that is the real world of politics. It's awful, but there it is. It's honest.
Look, I don't see,
it's honest.
I don't
it's
see
not all
Ted
put
Cruz
together
pushing
like
people
it is.
into subway trains.
That's true.
Okay, no.
Not every politician, he has a fair point that not every politician is a bad person.
Have you heard of Bill Clinton? People say that House of Cards is a representation of Bill and Hillary Clinton. There have been people that cross them that are suddenly dead. And you know what? That's what happens on House of Cards. So it is actually real. They play off of real events.
And now, moving on to another topic, that is a fair point, but with the acclaim of the show, you know, critics love it, people love it, they love both shows. What would you say, Aliza, is really, what do you think the public thinks about the show?
The public is loving House of Cards. They just can't get enough of it. The show was originally supposed to go for only 4 seasons, but now it's been renewed for a 5th, and that season is coming out soon. House of Cards, just because of the age range of characters on that show, it targets a wide audience, and that's a huge appeal to viewers, which is why people just can't get enough of it. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 84%. Rotten Tomatoes never gives anyone higher than an 80% most of the time. And it got a 9 out of 10 on IMDb. It's crushing it.
Like 26 is the big number here, and that's 26 Emmy Awards.
Okay,
House
but
of Cards
House
can't
of
even
Cards
touch that.
is picking up awards and getting nominated for awards as we speak. Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright have won Emmys and Golden Globes for the show for multiple seasons, and you know that's going to continue.
Martin Sheen gave birth to Charlie Sheen, one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Guys,
We're gonna have to settle this debate some other time because we really are out of time. We didn't really come to an answer, but stick around because up next we will determine who the better anchor is. Is it Will McAvoy from the newsroom or Ron Burgundy from Anchorman? Stay tuned.
I want candy, bubblegum and taffy. Skip to the sweet shop with my sweetheart Sandy. Got my penny safe, so I'm a sugar daddy. I'm a Hugh Cronin.